What's the feeling as you get ready for the Western Conference Championship?
Yeah, feeling's good. Anytime you're trying to play for a final, this is the Western Conference final. There's a bit of silverware on the line, and although we won the regular season Western Conference, this is, if you will, the American version of winning the Western Conference. So we'll try to win both.
Is there actual silverware on the line?
Yes.
There is?
Kristen says yes, and
What?
I trust Kristen immensely, so if she tells me something, I
Kristen
just
will
go
never
with
lie
it.
to you.
She takes care.
Well, good. Well, so there'd be like a ceremony after the.
I think there will.
Yeah. You get Josh Dalling back
Yes.
this week, so that's got to be.
Yeah, going through reps, I haven't seen him in a month and a half, so it's nice that he came into the group, and yeah, it's good. It's really nice to have him. All joking aside, like having Josh back is going to be really important for us. And I should mention, Isaac and Dita split that job last week. I know I told you guys we were playing with false nines, but we didn't. And
so you're being false to us?
I was.
About false nines?
I was being false about false nines, yeah.
That's fair.
But those two played fantastic, and they did a job that we needed them to do, and that put us back in this position where we can bring Josh in. And he got us here. He's certainly our main number 9, and it's nice to have him back.
So you're going to go back to the old style of the.
As long as you don't tell Tacoma that, yes.
Well, unfortunately, it depends on if they have a subscription or not.
All right. But I don't think it's going to shock anybody that once we get Doles back, he's playing. So
What's to say about this group of guys that they can adjust like that to miss the number 9 but still do so well?
Yeah, all year we've talked about being a resilient team, that it's important when you have any kind of setback, any kind of hurdle, any kind of adversity, that you deal with it in the appropriate way. And that's reflective of these kind of moments, whether it's an injury, whether it's a red card, and guys just understanding that when they get that chance, when their number is called, they're ready for it. And that's, again, I don't think you see teams that get to this point in the season without that kind of understanding from the group. And when a guy like Isaac, is called upon to start and play in a much different role, he's not a 9. He just did that job for us. He trained fantastic all last week. We gave him, I think, good instructions and very specific detail on where and how we wanted him. And then he went out there and made a lot of good decisions and worked his tail off and put us in a great position to be successful.
You said Josh just came in after 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Was he not able to practice?
No, I'm
Okay.
just being
All right.
facetious.
Okay.
But like for me, when I get the starting lineup together, that's what I was referring to. Like I hadn't really, given him any, so to speak, for a while.
So he's well rested though.
No, Jared's been running him like a dog. So this guy better be as fit as you could possibly be. Doles knows that he's under pressure. Like he has to play well, but he has to come back, and he's such a good pro. And Jared has done a wonderful job making sure, all of our guys, but when you have a guy who is out for 3 weeks in a row, you have to make sure that they do a little extra work.
Is Max okay?
Yeah, Max, we did this last week, the same thing with Max. Just trying to be super careful with him so that he is ready on Sunday.
I guess the lesson on Tacoma is they're a dangerous team, as you saw just in the semifinal game last week with Houston. They can make things happen.
I think, like us, they have a really good spirit and character about them. They were down and out, they came back. I think back to our game here in April when we played them, and we were in a great position. I think it was 4-1 with 20 minutes to go, and literally they didn't give up. They fought and made it 4-3, and then we're on our heels. And so we know we're facing a team that not only has quality, they're well coached, but they have some of that same fight that we have. They're never giving up. So this sets up to be a really tough contest, but we certainly feel like we're prepared and ready for it.
What's that home team going to make for you?
Last week our crowd was, you could feel that energy. It felt like a playoff game. It helped that we're, in Midwestern fall, and it's absolutely beautiful. But that night was kind of magical for all of us, and to have the fans and the energy in the stadium, it definitely helps.
So cool how the players and the staff went over to sing with the fans.
Yeah, I mean, we have bonded with our fans, and now we have a little ritual, and all of those things are, I've been saying it since day one. We're doing this year because we want to get these kind of processes in place for next year when we're in the stadium. So that's just part of it. But it has been nice to see that relationship get built, fans to players and staff, the same way we ask our players and staff to build relationships internally.
From an emotional perspective, Kyle was so calm last week when we talked to him about the struggles you guys have had offensively. Heading into that matchup, were you as confident as you seen Kyle was? And now that you guys did go out and score goals, are you feeling all the more relief, or did you just know you had it in the bag all the time?
It's a fine line. You have to be confident, though. Like, you have to, especially you get to the playoffs. It's about how you feel, and so you have to be confident. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your teammates and your staff, and all part of it. You also have to be humble to know that you're playing an opponent that is really good, and so you need to bring your best. You need to be the best version of you can. So if everybody collectively works as hard as they possibly can, but works smart, and then we trust each other, and we, understand that all these relationships that are built up, we scored a lot of goals in the month of August, we have to believe that those are going to come, and that was part of it. So, and Kyle, I think when you talk about a coaching staff or support staff or the medical staff, we all have to, walk the walk. Players have to do the same thing, and when that whistle blows, it's just them. This is a very player-centric sport, and so Kyle having that demeanor, that says a lot about him, but a lot about our group, and for sure that helped us.
He took it a step further. He said his finishing was better than most of the other guys after scoring the goal, and he had a chance last week and missed it. So I was disappointed in Kyle.
Yeah.
Offensively, of course.
Kyle, legitimately should have a lot more goals than he does, all right? So he knows that.
He gave almost a bicycle kick attempt last week. I thought that was, ambitious.
We'll see how he does this week.
Looking ahead, what would you say are the keys to the game, going into this matchup?
So they're a team that has really good mobility. They show up, their midfield three will show up in all different positions, and that rotation is hard for most teams to deal with. Normally we're good with that because we base where we start on the ball. We don't do it on the opposing men. But it's easy to get attracted to a man. And so we got to be mindful of that. And if we get that right, if we stay compact, we don't get pulled apart by their rotations, we're going to be okay. I think the same thing from last week, we were good in our repress. So our counter pressing is going to take away their ability to transition into a counterattack. And I think those are going to be some of the major keys that we'll look for.
I'm not sure what the exact word, comforting, enjoyable has been for you, that you've gotten this far with still relying on so many of the original guys, that you have Creek in goal, that it'll be Dahling up front and not Klaus, that while certainly Ostrak had a big role in last week's game, so much of it has been with the original guys. You could have had, in some scenarios, 7 guys.
Yeah, but we, Lutz, Bradley, and myself, we did a lot of planning about how this was going to kind of shape out, and you always want to prepare like you're going to be playing this time of year, but those plans, to be specific, have been intentional, and sometimes those plans don't go according to plan. They have. I was talking to Klaus in the training room earlier just about the team and about how interesting it has been for him to come into this group and assimilate and start to understand what the character of the group was like, what's important to guys, what's our values, and all of the guys who arrived midsummer, they've taken that on. So whether it's, Tomas, or whether it's Selmir, whether Klaus not playing, Berkey, whether it's Michael, we feel like we're all, one team. Everybody understands it. it is super nice that the guys that got us here are still the guys that we rely on and are what's up, Lutz? Still delivering. So, and as a coach, I'm just proud of them for that, because it's telling that we've done a lot of good things throughout the year. We still have more to do. But the guys that we trusted and we hand selected to be part of what we thought was going to be something special are in fact doing a really good job at that.
Are you sticking with Creek, and what has he brought over these past few weeks in goal?
I can't tell you that because maybe there is somebody who subscribes from Tacoma. But the likelihood is, yeah. I mean, Michael's played really well. And when you get into a playoff run, it's literally that. It's momentum. It's the confidence. It's, trying to be as consistent as possible in what you do and how you do it. And again, it's not like we have to build towards something right now. We just need to feel like we're well prepared, great energy, good belief in ourselves. The opponent's going to be tough, but we know that.
Is everybody else fit and eligible? And
Yeah, we're going to have to make some hard roster decisions for sure. It's a tough thing, but it's a good.
Berkey's healthy, right? I mean, he could play, right? There's nothing. He's not. I mean, you've made a decision.
Yeah, Berkey is healthy, and we definitely could. But I think Michael has shown that he is more than capable of delivering the kind of performances that he has all year long. And he's played great in the recent weeks. So we stick with Michael because that's kind of not to steal the cliche, but that's the hot hand, And we also had an intentional plan for Roman that wasn't about, trying to get him and playing playoff minutes. So it's really individual, and I kind of alluded to this, and I'm trying not to give away all of our ideas, but we every guy that came in with a different background. They came in with a different number of games, different time off, and so we had to prescribe this specific idea for every single one of those guys, while still trying to win games.
Yeah. Is it the overall competitiveness when you talk about you're worried about Tacoma knowing what you're doing? I mean, just there's been that level of.
Yeah, I think we both know each other pretty well at this point. So it's really about us trying to just understand what we want to be, and again, you're playing for a trophy, and that would be the first piece of silverware for this club. How special and a little bit of history would that be? There's no first team right now. We are the first team for this club. We're the only professional soccer team that represents our city and our community right now. So yeah, we're pretty excited and juiced about it.
Is there a trophy case in there? I don't know that.
We're gonna put one in there when we win it. So. Yeah, I'm sure there's a trophy case in there somewhere.
Buzz around the team as you get ready for a Western Conference championship.
Yeah, it's a really cool opportunity, and I think everyone's excited, but it's also one of those things you can't make the game like more than it is. It's just another game, another opportunity. So just kind of prepare the same way we've been doing all season. Just kind of take it one step at a time.
Is this like the biggest game you've played in?
Probably, yeah. But I mean, I'm just trying to look at it as another game.
What's it been like for you? You've got Berkey on this team, and what's it been like training with him and learning from him and now playing instead of him?
I mean, it's kind of an awesome experience. Like, I tell guys all the time, if you would have told me a year ago that I'd be training with Roman Berkey every day at this facility in my hometown, like, I would have told you you're lying. So it's one of those things where I'm trying to soak in every second and just enjoy the experience.
Any good examples of things you've noticed him doing or things you've copied from him or picked up from him?
I mean, honestly, just the composure and quality on the feet. Like, I think that was one of the biggest things that I noticed like right away, and like that's the next step. It's playing at a higher level. Is just becoming more of another field player, and I think his quality with his feet is incredible. So just continuing to push myself and just being a sponge around him.
I thought you showed a lot of that quality last week with the feet in particular. You didn't have a ton of saves to make, though you did make the big ones you needed to make. It was all about the feet and distribution. You also saved a goal from a teammate that almost kicked it in your own net. What was that like?
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's one of those things where I guess with our team, our defense has been pretty solid all year, and we really don't concede a whole lot of chances. So a lot of times I'm getting more back passes and just more stuff with my feet. So it's one of those things where we're always working on it, always staying after and doing a couple extra kicks and stuff like that.
With the way the offense had struggled in previous weeks, was it like even higher tension on you because one goal would make a big difference? If you...
Not really. I mean, it's one of those things where we know we have the quality to score goals, and we knew the goals were going to come. So.
But was it good to see the goal when you guys went up 1-0?
Oh, definitely. It's one of those things where it's a bit of like a relief, and like maybe we just keep building because it's one of those things we've been creating chances. It's just sometimes just the ball hasn't gone our way, and one of I guess the last match there was one where it seemed to get cleared off the line like 3 times. And you kind of think like, oh, it might be one of those nights, but luckily we were able to find the goal, and then Celio sealed it off with a PK, a good finish.
It was a dirty PK too.
Yeah, it was a very, very nice finish.
Can you talk a little bit more about playing in your hometown and just what that means to you? And obviously, this is like Coach said, the only team that represents St. Louis right now in soccer at the professional level, playing in the first ever MLS Next Pro. That's got to be so special for somebody from here, right?
Yeah, it's really cool. Just my friends and family have been able to come out to every single home game, and just that alone, I think, makes all the difference in the world.
Make a bigger difference if you guys came away with the championship too, right?
Yeah, exactly. That'd be really cool. Really cool.
Excited to get Josh Darling back?
Definitely. I mean, he's a great player, and he's proved it all season. So just to be able to add him, and the thing is as well, like a lot of guys stepped up when he wasn't able to play, and that just kind of shows the quality throughout the entire team. Whether it's like off the bench or from a start, like guys will come in and do the job.
Been fun to see the Missouri State contingent playing a big role in all this?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, maybe we can get some more Missouri State guys, That'd be an awesome experience. But they're great guys, and I've played a lot of games with them. So to be able to continue my professional career with them has just been an awesome experience.
Has it been good to see just how much the success, there's been all the international players that come in, but really it's been, a lot of the guys who've been here all year that have been instrumental. Celio, obviously, playing a big role, but the guys who, aren't necessarily first teamers next year had such a big hand in this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool experience, and I think Hack kind of touched on it a little bit as well. I think it's just a testament to like the guys that they've brought in, just the quality of guys, and more just not just soccer players, but also just people in general. Like even with the MLS guys coming in, I feel like they've gelled really well with the group, and we've been able to maintain a really good environment, really good experience in the locker room, and I think that's really helped build a really good team. So hopefully we just keep that going and create just an awesome team environment.
Yeah. Are you and Berkey now buddies?
I mean, I hope so. Hopefully he'll say the same. But yeah, we've got a very good GK union. I think, like honestly, there's no petty stuff, nothing. Like everyone wants to get the best out of each other, and whoever's playing that day, I think we're all rooting for them. So,
what's it been like watching the last 3 weeks?
It's been stressful watching like the games. I mean, I'm still involved in practice, but watching the games has been stressful. But like in a way, I've kind of had a 3-week break, and I feel completely re-energized and motivated to get back into it. So,
were you watching and saying this team could use a number 9? What this team is missing is me.
No, I wasn't thinking that, but I mean, obviously it's hard with me and Klaus both out. And the boys had to switch it up and figure out ways to, play without a true number 9, and they did well. And, it all worked out well. We came first in the conference, won the first playoff game, so they did well. Like if they stuck me on the left wing, I'd have no chance. So I'll give them props for figuring it out.
Do you feel like, it also like put even more pressure on you? Okay, they got this far without you, and now you're back in. You got to, they've been waiting for this, and you got to really step up.
Yeah, I mean, it's not much pressure. It's just getting back into how I was playing before, and I'm more excited than anything. Kyle was scoring, so I was like, all right, the centre backs are scoring. That's not the worst thing in the world. So that was okay.
Were you surprised by the 3-game suspension?
Yeah. I mean, looking at the tackle, I came to terms with it. It was a red. At the time, I thought it was a yellow, but then I watched it back. I was like, okay, it's probably a red. But then 3 games, I was like, it's a little bit much. I thought personally, but it is what it is.
Did they give any explanation for the?
No, I mean, We appealed it, you know. I think that's common knowledge. We appealed it because we didn't think it was a 3-game worthy tackle, and I don't know, they ran us round a little bit, you know, and then gave me a chance to explain my version of what happened, but stuck with the decision. So it is what it is, but it's worked out fine.
Yeah, I mean, you look back now and say, God, that was maybe not the smartest decision.
Oh yeah, 100%. No, I was looking at it. I was annoyed at myself for the tackle, you know, but I just learned from it. You know, I had no reason to slide in at that point, so just take it on the chin and go again next time.
It's a pretty exciting thing, playing for the Western Conference Championship here.
Yeah, very excited. You know, we haven't had any sort of game with that type of meaning so far. You know, the first playoff game was huge, and that wasn't for this is for a trophy. So, you know, we want to win the whole thing. So this is the first part of it.
As Michael, have you played in a bigger game?
No. Look, college is not really a comparison. You know, we've had conference tournament finals and all that type of stuff that we've won, but this is a completely different scale. You know.
You mentioned your break that you got. You know, you always want to come into a game like this with some kind of momentum, but do you see it as almost an advantage, not only that you're coming in with a little chip on your shoulder, but that you got some fresh legs?
Yeah, I really do. Because once you get to that stage of the season, you know, towards the end, it's like you get into like a kind of, I don't know, like routine, and it's just like you're trying to make it fit through the week to get to the game. Whereas now I feel like I did 6 months ago, you know, completely fresh. So I'm just excited to get into that and play.
Hack was saying though you have been running around a lot. They have.
Yeah, I mean, I was asking for like more fitness and stuff because because even while Klaus was fit, you know, we were sharing minutes. So I think my last full night he was against Chicago, which was quite a long time ago when you think about it. But at this stage of the season, there wasn't much need to do extra fitness and stuff. I'm already at a good condition. It was just staying involved in the practice, staying sharp, and then I can just come back into the game.
The way Tacoma plays, they score a lot of goals. You guys are going to have to, you know, one goal may not be enough against them.
Yeah, so I'm glad I'm back in the team then to try and score some goals. But teams don't like playing at SIUE all that much. I don't think they've scored a lot of goals in that place, and we're really solid at that ground. You know, we all wanted to be playing in that stadium, but we've got a 7-1 record in the SIUE, something like that. So fine, they can come to SIUE and try and score 3 or 4.
Do you remember much from the first time you played them here, where you guys had a lead and they came fighting back?
Yeah, it's different at the start because you don't really know the teams, you know. Like the first time we were just going into it blind. We didn't know what they were going to be like. We knew what we were like. And I thought it was a pretty comfortable game up until the very end. We made a couple changes and they got 1 or 2 and made it close at the end. But for the most part, it was comfortable. And then the second game, you know, that was just poor performance from us. Underestimated them, I think. It wasn't a very good trip overall. So we brushed that one off and we're excited for this one.
So you're glad you don't have to go to Tacoma?
I mean, if we did, we'd go and still want to beat them and feel confident about beating them. But I think it was just there was a lot of things on that trip that went wrong that, you know, all the lads would be able to tell you about. But it was just a behind the scenes kind of thing. But it's fine.
A long flight.
Brushed that one. Brushed that one off.
So when you going into this game after having the time off, do you have to tell yourself, moderate, go into the game, or from the get-go, are you 100 miles an hour?
Yeah, I mean, it's a 90-minute game, you know, and it could be extra time, all that type of stuff, potentially 120 minutes, something like that. So I wouldn't go out. I'd play like I normally would. I just feel a lot fresher. You know, it's like I'd still do the same things if I was playing those last 3 games that I would this Sunday. I just feel a bit sharper and a bit fresher. That's about it.
Yeah, how's your PK in case it comes to that?
Yeah, we're just practicing on them, so I hope it doesn't come to that. I don't think it will, but if it does, we'll take care of it.
Prem returns this weekend. You going to watch any games in particular?
I'm an Arsenal fan, so top of the league, I can't complain. What are you? Spurs? Spurs? Oh, you've had a nightmare.
5 a.m. on Saturday. I'm going to stand over here now.
At least he's honest.
I know, fair enough.